guys, it's Megan. So for this professional development, we are going to give you a little choice and voice, one of our personalized learning goals. You are going to get to choose whether you do face-to-face professional development with me and Bree, or if you choose to do an online learning. So today we're going to focus on one of our personalized learning goals, which is varied strategies. As you guys know, our 3 goals for our school are choice and voice, varied strategies, and mastery-based assessment. So by varying our strategies, we're personalizing the learning environment more. We're giving kids more options. So let's go ahead and get started. The 4C's of technology integration are collaboration, communication, critical thinking, and creativity. So before we move on, we're going to watch a short video. I asked the kids what their ideal learning situation would be, what the environment would be. So we're going to watch a video.
So for me, what makes a lesson really good is actually getting a feel for exactly what we're learning. And the way that I've seen teachers do that is by having some kind of activity that requires us to get up and move around the classroom or do something with our hands. And I feel like when we do things like that, like labs, or if, say, we're learning about a war and there's something specific about the war that we have to remember, the teacher can split us up into groups and we can do, I don't know, using different colored papers, using different groups, using the classroom and the people around us to actually learn, I feel is most effective for me.
I would choose to, or ask to do projects instead of notes, because notes, one, stress me out, and 2, myself and most kids don't even look at the notes to study, and projects you can work with other people and get more involved in the classroom.
My ideal way to learn something would be a hands-on way. Instead of looking at a whiteboard and them giving us notes, I'd rather have a physical visual of what they're trying to teach us and actually showing us the way we want to do it, and sort of showing us a real life example instead of showing us a textbook example of an education. Try to show us related to real life and how we'll use it in the future. And that will be my ideal way of education.
Go.
Okay, so I think the best thing that teachers can do in their lesson is to give an explanation of what they're doing and then give examples, because that's how I remember things best. And then after we learn everything, we just need to repeat it and keep on doing practice, because practice makes perfect.
Right.
Okay, so one of the best things that I think that teachers can do is to engage their students. And I find that teachers best engage their students when they make the topics relate to things that happen in students' everyday life and their current events. So in literature, for example, I find it very engaging when our teacher brings in topics about politics or about something that's happening in the news. So.
All right, so let's go back to our presentation. If you would, go ahead and fill out the Google form on the website. You are going to go ahead and tell us kind of what you learned from that video. So let's go ahead. This is from Harvard Magazine, and I actually saw this in one of my classes this semester at UGA, and I found this really kind of shocking and eye-opening. As you can tell, these are brainwave patterns, and this is from Harvard Magazine. I put the QR code here. If you want to pause the video and scan this, you can do that, or I'll also post the magazine article online for you guys to read. If you look here in a traditional lecture style class, you can see that the kids' brainwave patterns are actually lower than when they sleep, or similar to when they sleep. So we really need to engage students' brains and get them up and moving. So how do we make technology more interactive? We do that by using the 4 C's. I want to remind you guys that technology is just a tool here to do this. You can do all of these without technology in your classroom, just like we've been talking about with the personalized learning initiative. But the 4C's are really going to focus on those higher order level thinking skills. So let's start with collaboration. I don't know about y'all, but group projects were never my favorite. I always wanted to do something independently because I knew I could do more than my group mates. But it doesn't have to be this way. True collaboration doesn't mean just assigning group projects. We can do collaboration in a multitude of ways. Even just collaborating through discussion, Socratives are collaboration. Setting up Padlets, that's collaboration. So let's talk about some of the ways to help your group projects not be like that last meme. So the first is to set up norms. Let your students know specifically what you're expecting of them and assign roles. If you're doing a video project, assign someone to every group who's really good at video production. We have a ton of JC&N students here who are great at broadcasting. You might have kids that are really good at researching, so you might assign them as the researcher. By giving the students roles, they have something specific to focus on, and they're not going to argue over who should do what, and you're not going to have someone just take over completely. Give the students choices and make the learning authentic. We need to make this as real as possible for them, because that's what's going to motivate them to do a better job. And by giving choices, choice and voice, integrating that, you're letting the students have a say in how they're learning and what they're learning. When we talk about communication, we're talking about setting clear expectations and closing that gap between what you want, what the students think you want, and what the parents think you want. Through clear communication, we're going to get rid of any of those confusions that you might have, any of those perhaps arguments you might have with students and parents over what you're expecting. And clear communication is just going to make your life a lot easier. Creativity. We need to decide what we're going to do to help our kids think differently. We've got a lot of really cool stuff going on in the school here. How can we get our kids to think outside the box, to think differently? And employers want to see this as well. They want to see that kids aren't just reciting lecture notes or memorizing. Critical thinking. By using creativity and collaboration, a lot of times you are having your kids think critically. So I've included a Bloom's taxonomy here, and if you watch the video with the students, you can tell that most of them want to do, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. So by doing these, the kids are actually going to remember more, they're going to understand more, they're going to start drawing those connections, applying it to the real world. So we're going to collaborate. You're going to go to the website. You can go to this website here, or there's a link on the web page. You're going to come up with examples of how your students are already using your 4C's in their classroom. I can't wait to hear all your ideas.